Guys, ignore him, just play Muscle.
Hello everyone, this is going to be my Stamina Templar build for the Flames of Ambition patch. Templar deals a lot of damage this patch, but it's not quite as tanky as it used to be in the past, so the way you play this class has definitely changed now. People who play Templar are going to have to change the way they base their build a bit. You used to have to round your Stamplar build quite a lot. Basically, you would have to make your Stamplar very tanky and have a lot of damage. You could drop your sustainable doses of rune and heavy attacks, and the class being so resilient to damage. However, now you have to actually build for pure tankiness for it to work. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, the sets this patch are going to be Balorg, or you can also go Pirate Skeleton this patch if you want to be a little bit more tanky. You're going to want to have one piece trainee, a reinforced chest in heavy is going to be best. Then you want to run 5 impregnable, because this patch, because there are no procs, you're going to have a very little amount of critical resistance, and everyone's running very high crit damage builds such as Nightblades or Sorcerers. So yes, you definitely want to run this set. It's going to be best in slot to carry your defense this patch. For your offensive set, you want to run Hundings. Some people might argue that Spriggans would be better, and that's true. Spriggans is going to be more damage. However, Hunting is going to view weapon critical, which is always good on Stamplar since you have a passive that's going to increase your critical damage. Also, the 299 weapon damage are going to buff your healing, which is going to be very important, as you'll see further on in the build video. I'm running Known Honed on the weapon. If you want more damage, you have to go Sharpened. However, Known Honed for the same reasons gives you more healing. On the back bar here, this is a massive flex spot. I'm running Shackle Breaker 2-piece for the stamina recovery. However, you could definitely run Critical Riposte. Critical Riposte is going to be one of the best back bar sets this patch, as it gives you 424 critical resistance for the 2-piece, which is going to be massive damage mitigation against moist plays. However, I love the stamina recovery, as it lets me go fully invest in weapon damage on my jewelry. For the traits, you're gonna want to run 1 reinforced. You have to run a mix of well-fitted, sturdy, and impen. I'm running 1 impen because of how our crit resist gets here, 3k1. I'm running 3 well-fitted, no, actually 4, and 1 sturdy. The sturdy is here. You can also go well-fitted on this piece here. However, I like going back and forth between bow and sword and shield. Sword and shield is going to be best in slot for group play, when you want to be able to body block and actually face tank people for a limited amount of time. Bow is going to be better when you're facing larger groups as a solo player, as you're not going to be able to face tank this patch, as you're just going to be taking way too much damage. Bow is going to let you get major expedition, which is basically what's going to be carrying your line of sight and your speed and everything that revolves around not dying to groups. On my back bar here, I'm noticing infused weapon damage enchant. You can go defending or powered for the extra healing. However, this is going to also buff your healing because of the extra damage. For the CP, I have 1213 CP. You're going to be wanting to invest more in the yellow stars as you progress if you have more. However, for the base CP, you're going to be running Wrathful Strikes, Duelist Rebuff, Untamed Aggression, and Biting Aura. Biting Aura is obvious, as it's going to buff your jab damage and your ultimate most of the time. What's going to come as a surprise is probably that I'm running the Untamed Aggression and Wrathful Strikes CP, where most people are going to run Fighting Finesse and Backstabber. The reason why I run weapon damage here is for the extra healing, and the extra damage here is because your base damage on the Templar is going to be quite low. If you go for critical damage here, your base damage is actually going to be pretty low. I have roughly 4k jab tooltip here. If you drop those weapon damage CPs, you're going to be dropping to about 3k6 to 3k5, depending on how you invest in the other yellow stars. Which is why I'm investing the weapon damage CP. I think the 400 extra tooltip is better than the crit damage. However, this is completely up to you. If you feel more comfortable using crit, go for it. The fourth blue star is going to be the single target damage reduction, and this is necessary for playing Stamplar Dispatch. You absolutely want this star, as you're going to be taking massive amounts of damage. I've been getting hit by 6k surprise decks and 8k fragments, so if you don't have this, you're just going to get one shot. In the extended might, you're going to want to run 10 to piercing. You don't actually want to stack mitigation unless you have enough CP. If you have a lot more CP than me, you can definitely up this to the max and Battle Mastery as well. Battle Mastery is going to increase the chance of you proccing a martial status effect. As you all know, effects have been changed to this patch, and dealing damage with melee weapons has a chance to proc a status effect which afflicts people with minor breach. So this is actually quite good if you don't have any source of minor breach. You want to run this Mighty here, for same reason. You want to buff your damage. And in the Staving Death tree, this is the most important CP. The first CP you want to spend are here. You want the extra healing taken, 4%, might not sound like much, but it is. Elemental Aegis and Hardy, so 4% damage reduction is actually huge this patch, as we've lost most sources of mitigation from CP. You want to be able to stack as many as possible. If you have lots of CP, you can also stack into Blessed here, and you want to, of course, max out Battle Mastery and all the yellow CP you can. Precision would be a good one. Alright, for the red CP star, I'm using Rejuvenation. So this is probably going to be present on most good builds this patch, as it gives you 150 of every type of recovery, which is insanely good for every type of situation. Then I run Unchained, which is going to be letting you sustain a lot more, especially if you have to recast Shuffle. Slippery, this is very good sustain. It might not sound like much, but a break free every 21 seconds. Basically, if you divide the cost of break free by 10, that's how much recovery you're getting from this, and it's actually insanely good. Probably like 500 or something. In the yellow CP, I'm running Defiance to reduce the cost of break free, Tumbling. These CP here are just present for me to be able to progress on the other tree. So Mystic, Tenacity, here is Vigor, and I'm using Hasty to be able to sprint faster. The fourth star you want to slot is Bastion. The only reason you want to use this is because of the overwhelming presence of sorcerers in PvP right now, at least on PC EU. The extra 15% damage done to sorcerers is going to be massive when you want to 1vx them. Because of the curse stacking, you want to be able to take them out fast. So this is a must-have against sorcerers. And then I run Tao's Guardian because that's the only non-useless CP in here. Yeah. For the role-playing tree, just increase your mount speed or something. It's not really that important. The four stars I'm using are Rational, to be able to spend less money on food, faster mount. That's actually pretty good. If you're lucky, you get to pop potions twice. That has never procced for me in the week I've played, so I don't know if it's bugged, but never happened to me. And mount speed. Alright, let's get into the skills. So I'm using Executioner. You have to run this. If you want to have fun with Templar, you can also go Radiant Destruction. It's kind of fun, but Executioner is going to be best in slot, as it's like an instantaneous execute whereas Radiant Destruction is going to be channeled. Jabs, I mean, you're playing Templar, just slot this. Toppling Charge, so some might argue that now Javelin might be better, as it does damage on impact, like it actually hurts. But Toppling gives you a gap closer, a CC, an interrupt, and the off balance. It doesn't give you 10% extra damage anymore since the CPU change. However, being able to set people off balance lets you do a heavy attack, which is going to restore double the resource, and just for this reason, this is going to still be better. And having gap closer is going to be compulsory against Nightblade and Sorcerer, which are pretty strong PvP right now. I'm using a Barb Trap over Camouflage Hunter this patch. The reason being the 10% minor force, and the trap also roots people, which is really strong, because people die so fast this patch that if someone walks into your trap and you're able to toppling them, if you jab them, they will take enormous amounts of damage if they don't roll dodge and try and get away from you. And since you're running through Bloodthirsty, the more they stay in your range, the more damage they take, and they will just drop. I'm using Dawnbreaker right now. Dawnbreaker is going to be the ultimate you want to run for group play, as it lets you CC people and take some pressure off your mates. What I like using for solo is going to be Crescent Sweep. For all of you old Templars out there, you remember how good this used to be. Because of the changes, this actually deals a lot of damage. The base hit of Crescent Sweep is going to be higher than your Dawnbreaker base hit. It's also good because since it does magic damage, it's going to be stronger against heavy builds. Use Rally, of course. I mean, just slot this, of course. On your back bar, using Razor Caltrops. This is going to be your source of major breach, minor breach coming from your status effects, from your melee damage. If you feel like you're too squishy on this setup, you could also go Living Dark. Because of the extra spell damage and weapon damage we got, your Living Dark is going to be a lot stronger than it was a week ago. So this is very strong, this patch. Living Dark, I would not say it can compete with Mortal Coil, but it's basically a scuffed Mortal Coil. It's almost as good, but it just doesn't last as long. Your uses Restoring Focus, of course, Shuffle, which is really strong because of the amount of AU damage right now, Resolving Vigor, Extended Ritual, and you don't run Spell Wall. You run the Psychic Skill Line Ultimate, so you're gonna want to run Temporal Guard here for the minor protection. For your race, now this is probably the biggest surprise for most of you playing Stamplar this patch. For this kind of setup, the best in slot race is going to be High Elf. The single reason being that they change Elemental Toll to giving you weapon damage. So this changes everything, because High Elf has a passive called Spell Recharge, which basically gives you 5% mitigation when you're jabbing or channeling abilities. So it also is going to restore you, to give you back Magicka. So you get 625 Magicka every 6 seconds, which is basically 200 regen, so that's like a nice extra. But you get 5% mitigation, extra Magicka to be able to recast your Ritual and Toppling Charge and weapon damage. The race that's going to be the strongest after High Elf is definitely going to be Imperial, because of the reduced costs. The third race, I mean, there's no point going any other race apart from those two. However, if you are playing a Wood Elf and you do not want to change, that's fine. However, just know that Wood Elf got nerfed and it has like half the penetration speed it used to have, so it's really not that worth anymore. So that's pretty much it for the build itself. If you want to have a look around, so these are the traits. So as I said, you have 4 well fitted, 1 sturdy, 1 reinforced, 1 impan, 3 bloodthirsty under the jewelry. That's actually quite important. You can also go infused. Bloodthirsty is going to be better if you're attacking a squishy target, as your base damage is already going to set them quite low HP, and this is just going to be higher damage than infused when people are half HP. However, infused is going to be permanently buffing your healing as well, which is good. You probably realize that in the CPU we don't run much into Blessed, the reason being that we're using Non-Honed and lots of skills that buff our weapon damage, so that's why we actually have quite a high tooltip on Vigor for a bow build. We have 21k. That 21k near a keep goes up to about 24 to 25k. Alright, so now I'm going to show you some of the damage of this build and resistance against a sorcerer. Alright guys, so as I said, I'm going to show you fights against the most dominant class in PvP right now, which is going to be Magic Sorcerer. So I could be talking about how classes like Stamina Necromancer counter Stamplar, but Stamina Necromancer counters like everyone right now. So if you can, blast the Necro. If you can't, just tank it until it gives up and hate whispers you, because that's what happens. So I'm going to be showing you different possibilities, how to work around with the build I just gave you previously. So the first possibility is to drop Executioner entirely, to go for Camouflage Hunter. The weapon damage dispatch is incredibly high, so Fire's Guild abilities have gotten a massive value increase as they give you 3% weapon damage. So I'm gonna show you on this sorcerer here that it can deal enormous damage with this. So
I am this sorcerer.
okay, so I'm using basically a build that goes up to 6k 8 weapon damage here. So can you just like stack shields? Okay, so 23k shields, armor buff. So you just buff up, and you're gonna be keep buffing up, by the way. So you're just gonna be tearing through the shields here. His base is 22k, and you're just going to be tearing through the shields here. He's tanking damage right now, but his Magicka pool is dropping very fast. He's gonna be out of Magicka in about 10 seconds. And when sorcerers run out of Magicka, you can just burn them with Dawnbreaker, and your Bloodthirsty is going to take over in killing them. So basically, this is the amount of pressure you can deal on the sorcerer standing still. Of course, they're going to be streaking around and such, but there are ways you can counter it by, for example, toppling charging. One of the most common mistakes a sorcerer can make against a Templar can be streaking before reapplying shields, and that's actually one of the most common mistakes bad sorcerers make. So what you're gonna want to do if they do this, you're gonna break free, of course, or you're gonna get your champion star to break free for you. You're going to charge up a medium attack, and you're going to toppling on the sorcerer. He's going to be getting CC'd while he's probably going to be casting Dark Deal. I can actually show this. So can you basically streak through me Dark Deal?
With or without buffs?
Oh, I mean, however you want. Probably without shields. So you're going to be Dark Dealing. So this is going to interrupt the Dark Deal, and you're going to be dealing massive pressure. He didn't break free there. He could have and walked away, but yeah, probably. You could, but basically I'm showcasing this for bad sorcerer. I know you're bad sorc, but it's fine. Okay, so
I feel insulted. Okay, Templar.
Alright, so this is one of the main mistakes sorcerers are going to be making against you. I can show you more of these mistakes in a later video, but so this is one of the variants of this build where dropping the Executioner makes your Stamplar basically spec into full pressure. Your damage is going to be the highest out of any of the setups you can go with this. However, you're probably going to have the hardest time finishing off heavy builds using this. Okay, the second possibility is of course using Executioner. It's going to be very similar to how I played in previous patches, so I'm not going to showcase it. One of the other possibilities is using Living Dark instead of Caltrops here. So you're going to be dropping Major Bridge, which is going to be a giant damage loss. However, you're going to be able to tank much larger groups. So if you can DPS me as hard as you can for about 15 seconds with Overload, for example. So basically, you're going to be getting killed instantly. If you stand inside an overload without blocking or dodge rolling, you're going to be getting killed instantly. However, with Living Dark and popping a potion, you're going to be able to hold out for a lot longer. Nice dance, by the way.
I'm focused now.
Yeah, this is a serious top tier PvP build video.
Move right there.
Yeah, this is a top tier build video. Okay, go ahead, blast me. So as you can see, you can hold that. Like, of course, you're not gonna let yourself get blasted like this for literally 20 GCD straight. But this is just goes to show how much Living Dark is going to help you lighten the weight on your HP during fights. This is especially true against builds that use dots and stuff like that, because Living Dark procs every half second. Another variant to this could be dropping bow entirely and going sword and board. So if you do this, you're going to want to drop the shackle bow, which gave you stamina regen for critical riposte, of course. And you're going to drop Living Dark for either piece armor, if you want the single target debuff and the lower costing debuff, or you can also go caltrops. So here, the entire point of sword and board is to basically be able to perm block. So can you DPS me?
Yeah, when you roll over though.
You can just DPS me normally. It's not gonna make a difference. You're not gonna kill me. I'm gonna block everything.
Very subtle flag, by the way.
Yeah, just so you want to basically using this setup. The point is that, I mean, if you're gonna play sword and board, you need to already have quite a lot of experience running Templar, because one of the main elements to not dying on this is knowing when to block. So you basically want to the simplest way to explain this is block everything. Oh, I'm getting these things. Oh. Basically
Fighting a sword.
I'm talking skill these things. I'm using light attacks and those heavy. Okay, so basically that's what you want to run. If you're gonna sword and board is actually not very efficient this patch, as it's not tanky enough. Basically, you're gonna find yourself being way too squishy, even against most players. So the thing is, even running 3k5 crit resist, and if you run armor pots, your resistance go actually quite high when you're inside your rune, and even when you're outside, they're fine kind of for medium armor. You're gonna find yourself getting hit by 7k fragments and 6k surprise attack, so it's not gonna be enough. And using this, you could also go elude, but then removing snares is just going to be a hassle, and I hate it, so I don't do it. So that's why you want to run bow this patch. It's gonna be more damage. Of course, you're gonna be changing your poison slot if you do this. So these are the possibilities. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm going to I will post a video later on to explain how you're supposed to play Stamplar against other classes, how to counter them, and how to not get blasted like this.